Hello all, I am Ronita Chakraborty from Salesian College, Siliguri, Department of Education, and the lecture that I will be providing is for second semester students for the paper History of Education in Ancient and Medieval India, and the unit that I will be covering in my audio lectures will be Unit 3, Medieval System of Education. In the current audio lecture that I will be delivering is with regard to the general characteristics and the aims and objectives of medieval system of education, especially with reference to Islamic education. As we all know that the medieval period in India is marked by the Islamic rule. Beginning in 13th century BC, several Islamic states were established in the Indian subcontinent in the course of a gradual Muslim conquest in the Indian subcontinent. This process culminated in the Delhi Sultanate, Bengal Sultanate, Deccan Sultanate, Mughal empires, and various other Muslim empires which ruled most of India during the mid 14th to the early 18th century. This particular phase marked a new system of education which was developed by the Muslim kings in this period and is known as the Islamic system of education. When we speak about the general characteristics of the Islamic education, one of the very prominent aspects of Islamic education was that the Muslim rulers were the chief patrons and promoters of Islamic education in India. As such, most of the education in the Islamic era depended largely on the patronage of the Muslim rulers. The second basic characteristic of this period is that with regard to education, it was considered that acquisition of knowledge is an important duty in Islamic religion according to the Prophet, as it has been mentioned in the Quran that it is the religious duty to acquire knowledge which is a friend, guide, and benefactor in this world and in the other world. Therefore, huge importance and stress was laid on acquisition of knowledge through education. Another important feature of the Islamic learning in India was that the court was its center. The court of the Islamic rulers were assemblies or shelters of many ulemas, poets, teachers, artists, singers, historians, and writers. Capitals like Delhi, Jaunpur, Fatehpur Sikri, Murshidabad were the centers of Islamic learning. When we take into consideration the next characteristic, education which developed in the court, with regard to court, it means the place where the emperors or the sultans ruled. They were the centers for the higher type of learning. Apart from this higher education, we also have what we call as centers for elementary education. As such, it was during the Islamic period that we have two distinct types of educational institutions developed by the rulers. These two distinct types of Islamic educational system were known as maktabs and madrasas, the details of which I will be providing you all in the next audio lecture. When we speak about the curriculum, maktabs followed the curriculum for elementary level, and it basically constituted of the 3 R's, which is reading, writing, and arithmetic, and also providing knowledge about the primary teachings related to Quran. When we speak about madrasas, they followed a curriculum which focused on knowing about the philosophy behind the Islamic religion and rules and laws and various other aspects pertaining to the Islamic religion. Apart from that, Persian and Arabic were also taught to the students. When we speak about Islamic education, the Islamic education was stratified for the elite as well as for the masses. Higher education in the madrasas was theoretical in nature, whereas in maktabs it was more of practical. And there was a necessity that the rulers and the then religious leaders felt was to remove ignorance from the unlimited Muslim populace. As such, they gave equal emphasis to education for both levels. The teachers of the madrasas as well as the maktabs had to perform both teaching as well as religious duties. They had also a social obligation to impart knowledge to the future generation because they were the custodians of the Islamic cultural heritage. The teachers in the madrasas and the maktabs were highly esteemed, just as the priest teachers during the Vedic period. These teachers were known as a Maulvi. The Maulvis were not only teachers but was also a moral guide and a social leader. The status that they occupied was very high, as they were highly respected for their position, integrity of character and profession. During the Islamic period, when we consider the system of education, it is observed that there was a very cordial and healthy teacher-pupil relationship. There existed a most affectionate relation between the student and his teacher. There was constant intellectual communion between them. The relation was that of father and son. No regular fees was charged for education. Teachers and the other educational institutes were ensuring that they employed individuals on salary basis in schools and colleges. As such, vast endowments were created and large estates were set apart for the maintenance of maktabs and madrasas. When we speak about Islamic education, as I have priorly mentioned, it was almost free. Sometimes a certain amount of earning was collected for education. It was entirely devoted to the cause of Islamic learning and was known as zakab. The teachings of Islam were meant for all human beings. According to the Prophet, education is the meritorious in the eyes of the Almighty, and as such, everything should be acquired by everybody irrespective of their sex. He emphasized that acquisition of knowledge should be made compulsory for both men and women. Another peculiar feature of the Islamic education was education for women. Islam followed the principle of Parda system. Though the Islamic society was primarily conservative, yet even in the early days of Islamic period in India, there was the concept of female education. However, female education for the masses was mostly restricted till the elementary level, whereas for higher level of education, only the elite class were allowed to receive education in that regard. Different types of vocational or artistic education was also developed as the byproducts of general Islamic learning. Among these we have music, dancing, painting, sculpture, architecture, and rulers who favored them were mostly rulers who provided employment to such individuals. We have famous kings, or we can say famous emperors, who gave emphasis on individuals to be taken into court who had specialized in vocational learning. Some of them were Akbar, Shah Jahan, Jahangir, Iltutmish, Alauddin. The art of writing history was a definitive contribution of the Islamic education. The courts therefore maintained and patronized historians. Apart from court historians, there were other historians. As we go through the general characteristic, it can be thus understood that Islamic education was heavily weighed by the principles of morality. Strict moral discipline was demanded from the students, and it was introduced through various persons of quality. The dictum of the Quran was also dictated, and the students were supposed to be disciplined for it. Keeping in mind the above general characteristics that I mentioned to y'all, let us try focusing on the aims and ideals of the Islamic education. The primary aim and objective of the Islamic education as such was development of knowledge And this was essential because the Prophet felt that knowledge is both nectar and means of salvation. By knowledge, he meant that spiritual knowledge as well as material knowledge. Therefore, it was essential for individuals to acquire education in order to attain salvation. The second aim of the Islamic education was the spread of Islamic culture. As such, the education that was taught in maktabs and madrasas ensured that the students learn the language in the form of Persian and Arabic, know about the religion and the laws and rules related to it, most commonly known as Shariat according to the Persian tongue, and was taught mostly at higher levels, as well as be aware of the various Islamic etiquettes and manners. The third most important aim and ideal of this particular phase or system of education was development of character and morality. Muslims or Islams were the opinion that they have to follow morality. Their ideals and values of morality are somewhat different from the Hindus. In the Islamic system of education, the development of Islamic morality was emphasized, and in case of any misconduct, there was provision of repentance on the basis of Islamic rules or the Shariat. The second objective of the Islamic education was loyalty of the government. The Islamic rulers wanted to ensure that the citizens remain loyal to the government, and the most basic way for doing so was through education. As such, the Indians could learn about Arabic and Persian and also adopt Islamic etiquettes and were appointed to high posts based on their caliber and based on ability. The second characteristic of the Islamic education was education of arts, skills and vocation. At the time of arrival of the Islams in India during the 12th century, great progress had already been made in the field of art and skills. The Islamic rulers also brought different art and skills with them, and almost all Muslim rulers were great lovers of art and craft. They therefore laid special emphasis on vocational education. As a result of this education, great progress occurred in this field. Apart from this, the other ideal and objective of Islamic education was propagation of the Islamic religion. This is considered to be the most important objective of the medieval period Muslim education. Education of Islamic religion was imparted compulsorily in all maktabs and madrasas. Beside knowing about the religion, it was also important for the teachers to impart knowledge about the Islamic history, Islamic literature, and the Indians who had adopted Islam were provided all facilities and capable, competent enough for them to be appointed to higher posts. With this, we come to the end of this particular audio lecture, which focused on the general characteristics and the aims and objectives of medieval system of education, especially with the reference to Islamic education. Thank you all.